Bear with us, bear with us. Hello, we are doing a special cooking with the pastor. And please bear with us. Pretty please bear with us. We want to try to invite some other folks. There will be moments where, because I'm on three cameras, I may not be in your camera or in your purview. So please, sir, please, ma'am, just bear with me as we get it together. And we are getting it together. Thank you for joining me for a very special cooking with the pastor. We hope that you can, oh goodness, we hope that you will be able to see everything that's going on with Zoom broadcast. We hope that you'll be able to see. Bear with me 1 second because I have to get this one straight. Can y'all see me? If I put you there, I don't like you all there. Hey, Sister Payne. Hey. Y'all bear with me while I get this third camera going. I need you to just be patient. Oh, wait a minute. What am I worried about? I can sit it right there because I can see that from there. All right. I see you coming. Just bear with me. We're going to get started here in a minute. We're going to wash our hands, put on our gloves. We've already poured our drink, our signature drink, cranberry and thing. Good evening, Sister Ralph. We've already poured our drink, our signature cranberry and orange juice. So just bear with us as we get started. Thank you for joining me a half hour early for Cooking with the Pastor. We hope that this wonderful recipe and meal will be one that you can enjoy with family and friends, especially on cold, rainy, wintry nights, or you can have it for lunch during the day and it will hold you all day and well into the evening. Especially those of you who are just trying to eat one big power meal filled with protein a day. And for those of you who are vegetarians, all you got to do is take the meat out and follow the rest of the recipe. All right. There we go. Done. Hey, Aunt Geneva. Hey, Miss Bradley. Bear with me 1 second. Let me wash my hands, blow my nose, and get going. I will be right there. All right. All right. We're going to wash our hands. We've washed our hands. Now we're going to put our gloves on. Hey, Cousin Patty, how are you? How are you? We're going to put on our gloves. It was hard for us to find some gloves. We hope these fit. I hate cooking without gloves, especially in this day and age, and especially when I've been hired to cook and I'm available for hire. You can hire me. I was commissioned to make a dish for a very good and very dear friend of mine who is out sick and bedridden. Well, not quite bedridden, but out sick for the next several weeks and needed something that could hold them for the day, as well as something that was strong enough to help them when they take their medicine. I'm going to tell everybody one time, Brother Johnson, I am making what is called 3-beef stew. 3-beef stew. So we have 3 types of beef here that we've soaked in onions and goat milk. We have beef short ribs. Y'all see those? We have some beef short ribs. We have oxtails and beef neck bones that we've soaked in onions and goat milk for 2 days. So what you're going to do, certainly cut your pan on, find your drink and take a sip of it. And I'm going to show you how to make perfect white rice. Perfect white rice. I hope. So what you're going to do is you're going to take about a cup of water. So you're going to take 1 cup of water and pour in there. Turn your fire on about 6. You're going to take, this is an ice cream scooper. You're going to take 1 ice cream scoop of butter and put in there. You're going to put in, because oxtails take a little longer, you're going to put in, with your stove up to 6, your oxtails. And we only have 2, because they take a little longer. And you're going to cover that. And your fire's up to 6. Now, you're going to put the rest of this to the side for a minute. This is going to take about a good 45 minutes to an hour. Once we turn it up high, some of you I will have lost. I know you won't be with me for that long, but for those of you who are, thank you. And someplace in here, we're going to share a 12-minute message. So stay tuned. Hey, Dr. Barnwell, how you doing? Hello, hello, hello. Sister Harrison, Sister Wrighton, Geneva, Miss Bradley. Did I say hello to you? Hey, Geneva. All right. And you feel free to join us on Zoom if you saw the Zoom. Okay, so we have that on. Now, I hate cooking with used vegetables, or as I like to call them used vegetables, but they're not used vegetables. They are, I'm trying to position myself where you can see what I do. Okay, so we're going to take our potatoes. You take 2 big potatoes, try to get 2 potatoes about the same size. You're going to cut them into 16 pieces. Half, then a half and a half, then the quarters and the halves, then you're going to cut the quarters and the eighths. And you have 16 nice pieces of potato from each one of the potatoes. That's what you want to do. I'm going to cut both of the potatoes the same way. Half. Halves into half. Quarters into half. And then quarters into eighths. You want them to be big and tasty because the meat is big. Okay. So then, and before anybody says anything, yes, we washed all the vegetables. Can y'all see me over there? Were y'all able to see what I was doing? Let me see. Well, some of y'all wasn't able to see what I was doing. Okay. Hey, what's up? What's up? What's up, Elijah? That's my classmate and teammate from back in the 80s. High school basketball. One of the best. Injuries and bad coaching plagued his NBA career. I'm not being kind, I'm being honest. All right. So we put our potatoes aside. This should be warming up. You can hear it. All right. Wash our knife off. Fresh corn. 2 ears of fresh corn. Shuck them on the spot. Two ears of fresh corn. We're going to shuck them right here in front of you so you can see. I know how to shuck corn. The only reason I'm not going to use fresh tomatoes is because it would have took me too long to blast them and pre-stew them. So I'm already taking up a whole lot of your time. The strings, if there are any, get as many of them off with your hands as you can, but you can leave the rest on there. You're going to take each ear of corn. You're going to slice it in half, if you can. Or, well, you want to break it in half. Then, break the halves in half. If you can. If you can't, then just slice it as best you can. You want it to be about, you just want to create about 8 pieces of corn. I don't know, this corn ain't out. This corn don't want to work with me tonight. Okay. 2, 4, 6, and 8. All right. We're going to take our corn and set it aside. All right. Wipe down our board. And we don't need the knife anymore for anything. And we don't need our board anymore for anything. You all know I like to wash dishes as I go. All right. Wash our knife. Put our corn whole shirkings in the trash. Take a sip of our favorite beverage. All right, well, now you're going to start adding your other meat. You're going to turn your fire up to high. I want to show you something. When your oxtail, you don't know when to start adding other meat. When your oxtail is no longer pink and red, but is tannish, it doesn't have to be fully tannish, but it starts getting tan, like that. See that? That's starting to get tan. You're ready to start adding the other meat. This one is even better. See that? It's starting to tan. See it starting to tan? Can y'all see that? Good. All right. So then you want to take your other meat and onions and your goat milk, let it soak in, and just put all of that in the pot. You're going to put all of that in the pot. Turn your fire up to high. I will tell you when to put the water in, because you don't want it too watery. You put in your corn, your potatoes. Then, because you want to use as little faucet water as possible, leave the juices on the canned stuff you use. Sweet peas. Lima beans. And the big can of peeled plum tomatoes. You want to mix this around. I'm going to show you something. So if you look, I'm going to show you the pot. If you look, if you can see the water from those juices, can y'all see? Can you see it or you can't see it? It's right about here. And vegetables and meat and stuff is about here. So now what you want to do is go ahead and add enough water just to cover the top of it. Nothing more. You want to add enough water to just cover the top of it. You just want to cover the top of it. That's all you want to do. So it should be no more than 2 to 2.5 cups of water. 3 at the most. All right. Let me see if you can see. I can show you this. Can you all see this? Let me show it to you all first. You all see that? You don't want to cover it any more than that. Okay. Now y'all stay there a second. I'm going to move you back to where you are. I gotta let these folks see it. Okay, you see that? You don't want it covered any more than that. Because when you put the top on, the condensation from the top is going to add to the water. Hey, Sister Helen Brown. Sister Hamilton, we are cooking. Hey, Sister Willis. Sister Watson. Sister Brown. Hey, Parisia. We are cooking 3 beef stew. Oxtails, beef short rib, and beef neck bone. So we're going to stir this around. A dash or two, I should say black people dash of sea salt, some black pepper, or season to your liking, not a lot, a little bit of black pepper. I know y'all say he's going on, that's a lot of black pepper. It's not. Then you're going to take your ice cream scooper, 2 scoops of margarine or butter. You put your top on, and you're gonna let that bad boy cook for about a good 45 minutes. I'm gonna wash some dishes, and then we're gonna get started on this rice. All right. Let me wash a couple of dishes, and then we're gonna get started on that ribeye. Yes, we are. Okay. All right. We are trusting everybody is taking copious notes. All righty. All right. Put our cans in the trash can, and we're going to get started on our rice. Okay. So, perfect rice. Is there such thing? Yes. Our 2 cups of water already in there. We turn our fire up to 7, 8, up to high. To let it start boiling. While we're letting it boil, we take I'm sorry, I'm looking for my oil. I don't know where I put my oil. Oh, here we go. We take our oil, not butter, not just yet. We take our ice cream scoop, fill it with oil, pour it in there. All right. I'm going to show you how to make perfect rice. Dash your salt. And let it boil. Now, every so often, you want to stir this because the meat at the bottom, you want to bring it to the top. All the ingredients at the bottom, you want to bring them to the top. You really want it to get mixed up in there. Yeah, our meat is starting to brown. Trust me, it's closer to being done than you think it is. So, and then what you do is you buy yourself some orange cream Twizzlers. And while you're waiting for stuff to happen, eat some orange cream Twizzlers. Thanks, Mr. Barbershop. Yup. Oh, mess with y'all. I forgot my mushroom. I didn't feel like slicing mushrooms, so I got pre-sliced. Leave them like that. Don't break them down anymore. Just leave the mushrooms in there. You want to put the mushrooms on top. And when you mix it around, they'll go to the bottom, but you want them to start cooking on top. So it's okay. Now, let's sit and wait. This 3-beef stew is a great recipe for the winter because beef can withstand the refrigerator or the freezer longer and better than chicken. And so if you don't eat it all, y'all don't eat it all, you can put it in the refrigerator or the freezer for 2-3 days or a week and come back to it. You can eat a bowl of it at a time. It's great. It's one of those meals where you can eat once a day and you will be full. You will be fine. All right. Can y'all hear me on can y'all hear me, Sister Ralph, on Zoom? Can y'all hear me on these Facebooks and YouTube and stuff? Okay, cool. So that's what you want to do. And so we're waiting for our rice to boil. Right? Okay. So who all is excited that we have a new president? Raise your hand. Raise your hand if you were sure. Right. So I'm thinking a lot about the inauguration and even the gentleman who cleaned the podium and how we as a country are just headed in a totally different direction. And how we as a country and a nation are starting to, or should start, really coming together. Hey, Ansonia. And how those persons and those things that try to divide us, not just by we were divided sometimes even in our own household, even in our own family. Like I had a cousin who we grew up together saying that these people were patriots. And I was trying to figure out, you sure you was birth the grandchild? Because like, how could you? But that's how he believed it and that's how he saw it. And I thought about, and the guy said something today about how these people went for the mind game. And I think about like the mind game and the head game that Trump played with them and a lot of other people, whether you're a supporter or not a supporter, and he brought out the worst, even in us. Even in good people, he brought out the worst. Our frustration, he agitated us, he irritated us. And there were times we said it, we spoke it, we expressed it, and we let him get in our mind. And I want to talk to you for a few minutes about don't let people play tricks with your mind. It's not your mind that's playing tricks on you. It's people who play tricks that mess with your mind. Listen to what the writer says. Let this mind be in you that is also in Christ Jesus. Right? By the renewing of your mind. Right? It says, there's another portion of scripture says, and I shared this with you, eyes have not seen, ears not have heard, nor has it entered into the minds of men what God has in store for them that are called according to his purpose, that love him. God, we are so busy in relationships and in church and at work and everything, trying to guard our heart that Trump understood. We most of the times have left our mind unprotected. Our water is sizzling. We're going to stir it around. Yes, I know I'm stirring it around with the same spoon that I stirred that with, but I'm going to show you something and it's going to give the rice some flavor. And so you have to guard your mind. Because if you guard your mind, nobody can play with your heart. Write that down. If you guard your mind, can't nobody play with and break your heart. If you think right thoughts, if you think higher and grander thoughts, if you think of others and esteem others more than you do yourself, if you think of how to move not just your life forward, but how your life can move the lives of other people forward, you are guarding and developing your mind, your mentality. Because what you think determines what you feel. And then, watch this. If the brain sends a bad message to the heart, and the heart accepts that message and is hurt, then it sends a bad message to the brain. So watch this. Girl, boy, your husband, wife, boyfriend, girlfriend are cheating on you. You let that get in your mind. Now your heart is broken. And your heart says, you think I'm gonna let that person do this to me? And it sends a message to the brain. Key their car, shoot them, stab them, or kill them. Because you allowed your emotion or your brain and your mind, somebody to get inside of your mind. People cannot play games with your mind, they play games with you, that if you play that game with them, they will affect your mind. So in this year of 2021, the number one thing you have to do is one thing, three parts. One, protect your mind from fools and foolishness. Write these down. Protect your mind from fools and foolishness. How do you do that? Don't even talk to people who are stupider than you or nobody you can't learn nothing from. Mother Levi Bowman told me, boy, you don't ever want to be the smartest person in the room. He said, and if you want to be the smartest person in the room, you fine. He said, but you definitely don't want to be the dumbest man in the room. He said, because if you're the smartest person in the room, you can't learn nothing. He said, but what's worse is if you're the dumbest man in the room, you can't teach nothing. Protect your mind from fools and foolishness. Don't spend your time, as W.C. Fields said, trying to wise up a fool. That's number one. Number two, keep your mind on high alert for intruders into your heart. Because people play mind. See, Trump got to their heart through their mind. Good evening, Apostle Johnson. Trump got to their heart through their mind. He told them what to think. Then after he told them what to think, he said, now don't that make you feel bad? There's some things I think about that don't make me feel bad, until somebody say, well, don't that make you feel bad? Then it makes me feel bad. Because what people are trying to get to is your heart, because if they can get to your heart will make you act. Your heart will make you lose your mind. Watch what one religious writer says. The only time you should listen to your heart over your mind is when following Jesus. Because your heart will tell you to leap over walls that your mind tell you are too high. That's the only time you should listen to your heart over your mind. Your mind should tell your heart, calm down, slow down. You're not as hurt. You will survive. Don't let them in. So people are trying to go straight for your heart, They're trying to get to your mind. Because if they can get to your mind, hey, Sister Poinsettia, hey, Uncle Herman, if they can get to your mind, they can get to your heart. So keep your mind on high alert for intruders trying to get to your heart. That's number 2. Okay, our rice is boiling. Our water is boiling. We are now going to pour in our rice, trust me, in a circular motion. Now, the rice on the outside should be deeper and higher than the rice in the middle of the pot. Why? Because the middle of the pot sits in the center of the fire, and that's the hottest point. So you want the rice to be high on the outside and low on the inside. And then as you stir it and stir it around, it will then eventually go to the middle. You want to cover it. Turn it down, or actually before you cover it, turn it down. Now you're going to add butter. 1 ice cream scoop. I'm going to tell you the third thing about the dark in your heart, about your mind in a second. 1 ice cream scoop of butter or margarine. So remember, the beginning of making a good pot of rice is you use a tablespoon of oil first to boil the water, put your salt. When the water boils, then you cover your rice, then you put an ice cream scoop of butter in. And number 3 for your mind. And number 3 for your mind. Don't let others control your mind that you always stay in control. Don't let anybody else tell you what to think, how to think, and what to think about something. Always make decisions for yourself. Listen to the information and then in your mind assess it. Don't let anybody else give you information and then assess the information for you. So if somebody says, Johnny is mean, you think mean? How you think Johnny ain't mean? Didn't I tell you all those things about Johnny? How can you not think Johnny was mean? Because Johnny wasn't mean to me. I heard what you said, but I can't let you control what and how I think and how I analyze and synthesize and regurgitate the information back. Hey, Sister Sanders. Hey, Aunt Geneva. Did I miss anybody? No. All right. We back to our 3 beef stew. And gosh. Oh, yeah. I wish y'all could smell these. So each one of these meats is cut from a different part of the cow. And depending on where and how blood flows, gives it its taste. And so the neck bone, the oxtail, and the short rib, 3 different parts of the body, blood flows differently. And so each one has its own natural flavor to it. And so what you're doing is you're merging those 3 flavors seasoned with goat milk. So there is this richness and this aroma that when you taste it, just the broth that explodes in your mouth. And then those potatoes and mushrooms and onions, the vegetables, because you are cooking the meat in that which it normally eats, in that which its blood normally flows through. So you are cooking it in what its diet is. That's why you use certain vegetables for certain meats when you make a stew. It's not just about your favorite vegetable. It's about what does that animal that you are cooking eat, right? So anyway, so back to our president. So I was listening to a press conference today, and one of the reporters tried to get kind of snarky with the young lady, who's very articulate, very intelligent, very honest. And I said to myself, bro, for the last 4 years and for the last 6 months of this last year, you didn't even have a press conference. And if you went to a press conference, you're just going to get lied to, yelled at, talked about, and tweeted. And now here is somebody who's decent, honest, mannerable, and respectful talking to you, and now you decide to get snotty? Like, sometimes people don't appreciate what they have. Like, you have the very best press secretary there is in the last 4 years. For 3.5 years, I watched him in press conferences get yelled at, talked about, to the point where the last couple of press conferences before they shut it down, this guy said absolutely nothing. And now that he has somebody who's decent, who's kind, who's nice, who's respectful, now he wants to be indignant. I tell you, people are really, really, really funny. Oh, what I want to say, if you are here, say hello. Yeah. So people can be really, really, really funny. Really funny sometimes. Most times. So I think that his promise to his promise to try to do 1 million vaccines in his first 100 days, I think it's large. I think it's a big promise, but I think he can do it. I think it can be done. And if he doesn't, he will at least give it a try. I prefer somebody who tries something than somebody who does nothing and denies everything. Listen to this. It's better to deal with somebody who will try something than it is to deal with the person who will try nothing and denies everything. It's far better. It's far easier to deal with that type of person, because at least they try. If you don't try, you will certainly fail. If you don't try, you will certainly fail. Oh, okay. By way of ministry, on this Friday, we will be joining Chris Murray of Geneva and Lady Tracy Murray on their prayer line at 7 p.m. So at 6 o'clock, we'll tune in. We'll do the 12-minute message. And actually, you know what? At 7 o'clock, we'll do the 12-minute message on the prayer line. We'll kind of tie everything in at one time. And then on this Sunday, we will start at 8:45, try to be done by 9:45, 9:50. And then we will transition over into doing Sunday school for, I can't think of the name of the church. It'll come to me, but I'll post it up. And so we'll stay on live and do the Sunday school and everything with them at 9:45, 9:50. And we'll just transition right on into it. So thank you. We're asking you, if you haven't, if you have not, please, please, please go to Amazon.com and get the books. The Difference Between Depression and Deliverance is Dialogue with Divinity. Post it up on your webpage, your Facebook page. Please share the link to Anchor FM and listen to the 12-minute messages on Anchor FM while you're driving, while you're riding along, while you're sitting at your desk. Please, sir, please, ma'am. And then what else? That's it. Sign up for a sponsorship if you don't mind. 99 cents, $4.99, or $9.99 a month. Those of you who have signed up, we want to thank you for your contribution and your donation and support for this ministry and the minister. So we thank you. We thank you. Okay, our soup is starting to boil now. Oh, I wish you guys could see this. And yes, it takes a big bowl to hold this soup. It takes a big, big bowl to hold this soup. Yeah, look at that. Look at that short rib as it has cooked off of the bone. Look at that short rib. It is cooking off the bone. Oh, this is going to be tasty and tender. Yes, it is. And you don't want it, the reason you cook it in the goat milk as opposed to a lot of water is because you don't want it to be thin, but you don't put any flour in it because you don't want it to be too thick. And so you cook it in goat milk and water or coconut milk and water. And if you can't use one of them, use buttermilk and water, but you don't want to use flour. You don't want to use all water. And when you soak them the night before, 2 nights before, put them in a pan like this, if you can, and put just enough goat milk, regular milk, coconut milk on them that it barely covers it. And they're going to soak it up. So how much of the milk you put in there, half of it is going to be gone. It'll absorb it like a sponge. And then you slice up a whole onion and you put it on there. You season them how you want them seasoned. And then the next day or a day later, don't let them sit for more than 3 days. 2 days at the most. Actually, 36 hours. That's how long these have been seasoned, about 36 hours. I let them soak for about 36 hours. So that's it. Thank you, Sister Brown. So, our rice. I know y'all was like the rice, but I'm so good at this. So here is our rice. See our rice? Now, you want to mix it around. Because now all it's got to do is simmer and the rest of the water has to cook out of there. And this is perfect rice. You could literally count how many there are. Turn it back down now to 2. Lean your top just a little bit so some of the steam can come off and out. And you will have perfect rice. And take a sip of your favorite drink. Orange juice and cranberry juice mixed together. And that's it. So, how's everybody doing? Type in and tell me how you feel about the election of Joe Biden. What do you think? What do you expect? What do you want to do? What do you want to see done? I want to hear from you. Come on, tell me what you're thinking. Tell me what you feel. Excited about. Tell me what you are most looking forward to. I would rather a person, personally, aim for the sun and land someplace on the moon, as opposed to a man who had no plan other than how to make himself and his friends rich. I prefer the guy who aims high and misses than a guy who has no aim at all. Thank you, Sister Gaines. So tell me what you want. Tell me what you want to see. Tell me what you expect from our new commander and chief. Oh, I'm getting too old to be down like this. Now we are at a full board. So now what we're going to do is put it in simmer mode. We cutting it down from high down to about 3. And this is simmer mode. And now we're going to take our tomatoes. They should be good and soft. And just puncture them. I'll show you what I mean when I say puncture them. You just want to puncture them because now you want it to spill out. You want their flavor to begin to spill out. So you want to puncture them. You don't want to break them up. You just want to puncture them so that their flavor will begin to bleed into the pot. That's what you want to do. And now this is in simmer mode. You're going to take your rice, which should be done and perfect. Y'all see that? You see how it slides? Hey, cousin Adelma, you see that? You can count the kernels. Put it on low. And let it sit and simmer uncovered. And that, my friends, is how you get perfect every time. It's the same formula. No, Sister Johnson, Apostle Johnson, that is beef short ribs. It's called 3 beef stew. Let me put the name up here. Let me write it up here. 3 beef stew. Beef short ribs. Beef short ribs. Beef neck bone. I forgot how to spell bone. Beef neck bone and oxtail. That's what it's called. 3 beef stew. Let me put it up here too. Yep. Oh, you know what? I don't even have to do that. I know exactly what to do. I'm sorry. 3, beef, 2. Beef short ribs, beef neck bones, and oxtails. Uh, yep, there we go. 3 beef stew. Beef short ribs, beef neck bones, and oxtails. That's what it is. And the recipe is real easy. And so now we are in simmer mode. Ooh, those beef taste good. And that's all we doing now is letting it sit and simmer and letting the natural heat in the pot cook it the rest of the way. And if you want it to be really good, I'm gonna tell you what you do. After you cook it, don't eat it. Cut it down. Let it cool off. Put it in the freezer overnight. Good evening, Reverend Mitchell. Okay, well, I have a bowl long as it's beef. Yeah, it's beef. Put it in the freezer overnight. The next day, take it, don't microwave it, put the whole pot in the oven. Put the whole pot in the oven uncovered. Or just cover it with some aluminum foil if you want to. And let it sit in the oven at 350 for 20 minutes. Good God Almighty. About 20, 25 minutes, 30 minutes at the most. At about 350. No higher than 375, depending on how frozen it is. And when all of the grease and everything break up, oh, what? Let me tell you. Because that coldness, see, cold stuff causes things to constrict, draw in. So what that beef is going to do overnight in your freezer, as it's getting colder and colder, it's going to constrict and it's going to draw all the juices into it. Then when you put it in the oven, to see if you put it on the stove is going to heat it up real quick and it's going to release. But when you put it in the oven, it's going to slowly heat up. It's going to heat up from the bottom to the top, slowly. And as it's slowly heating up, it's going to slowly expand. And as it slowly expands, it is going to slowly let out the juices and the flavor and the richness of it. That's what you do if you really want it to taste great. But since this is a prescription for somebody, I don't have a chance to do that. Probably they'll do it. I believe, Sister Ralph says, I believe he will do great things, looking out for all people. He is sensitive to the needs of others. I agree with that. I agree with that. Hey, Sister Scott, how you doing? I agree with that. I think he will try to look out for all people, even those persons who didn't vote for him. Like, I've been voted into 2 churches. And sometimes what you find out is if you stay the course and you do what is right, Even a person who did not want you or didn't vote for you, you can win them over, and you still have to be their pastor. You still have to be their president. You still have to be the teacher of bad students. You, as the individual who gets put in that position, you cannot favor one group over the other. That was one of the mistakes that Trump made. It is, cousin Ladelma. Hey, good to hear you doing fine, Sister Scott. It is good, Sister. Good. Listen, y'all better hire me out now for Valentine's Day dinner for you and your boo. You better get me now. Send me the recipe, what you want cooked. Send me the ingredients. Hey, Sister Calloway. Send me the ingredients. Inbox me. We'll talk about the price of what it's going to cost you for a romantic dinner for two. So you better inbox me. If you're in South Carolina, you better inbox me. You can have dinner, romantic dinner for two at Shea Willie's on Valentine's night or Valentine week. Let me know. You better book me now. Spaces are going fast. Seating is limited. Space is going fast. Our rice is now done. That, my friends, is perfect rice. That is what perfect rice looks like. You can count every kernel in that rice. So remember, then take it off the heat, put your top back on. Turn the heat off, put your top back on. So remember, here's how to make perfect rice. 2 cups of water, how many of them? Whatever the recipe calls for. But put your water on, put in 1, get your ice cream scooper. Put in 1 ice cream scooper fill. For every 1 cup of rice, put 1 ice cream scooper fill of oil in it. So for every cup of rice, fill 1 of these. Put your little bit of salt, a little bit of pepper, let your rice come to a boil. Putting in edges, not dead center. Don't pour your rice dead center in a pot. Pour it around the edges. Then after it's been in there a minute, then stir it around. After you put your rice in and it starts to thing, then for every cup of rice you put in, then put in 1 ice cream scoop filled with butter. You don't have to come back every 10, 15 minutes or seconds checking it. If the recipe says let your rice cook for 45 minutes, come back in 35 to 38 minutes, stir it 1 good time. Make sure you turn it down, whatever the recipe calls for. Make sure you turn it down. After you turn it down, you got first bid. Okay, all right. Hit me up, let me know. If y'all fly me to Hawaii, I'll come there. If you fly me to Hawaii, I'll come there. You gotta take care of our travel expenses. If you're out of state, you gotta take care of our travel expenses, plus the fee for the meal, and you get all the ingredients. I'll do a great Hawaiian romantic dinner. So I might even put on one of those, I might even put on one of them things, what they call it, the hula, luau, the whatever. Maybe hire a couple of luau girls to do a dance for you if you bring me all the way to Hawaii. Right. Let me know, Apostle Johnson. You got the first bid? Okay. I won't negotiate with nobody else until I hear from you on that bid. So yeah, so now it is just stewing, and we're gonna sit here and just let it stew for another 25, 30 minutes, and it will be done. So that's 3 beef stew. Remember, put your oxtail in with a cup of water and 1 scoop of butter. Let it start getting a little, move from pink, a little tan, while you're cutting up your vegetables. 2 whole tomatoes cut into 8ths, so you should have 32 pieces of, not tomato, potato. 2 ears of corn, slice them up so there's 8 pieces of corn, and a large can of the plum, already peeled tomatoes. 1 can of lima beans, 1 can of sweet peas, and 1 small basket of ooh, 1 small basket of mushrooms. Then you put it all in there, turn your pot up on high for about a good 30 to 45 minutes. After that, turn it down to about 2.5 to 3, and just let it simmer for about another 25 to 35 minutes or so, and you have 3 beef stew. And it's the soup that will definitely eat like a meal. Put it over your perfectly cooked rice. Good to go. All right. And this is the soup you are going to need a knife and a fork to eat it with, because this is some good soup. All right. Listen. God bless you. You bring the food with you. I'll meet you at the plane to pick it up. Okay. I'll do that. As long as you have a round trip ticket, because you know they ain't letting people into Hawaii. So definitely. All righty. Thank you. God bless. I wish I would have responded more to the question about Joe Biden, but we trust that each and every one of you are happy with our selection of our new president. God bless you. Heaven smile on you. Thank you for joining me for this special Cooking with the Pastor. I'll see you tomorrow night. You'll see when the post is for prayer time with CAM Ministries, Dr. Chris Murray, and Lady Tracy Murray. We'll see you then. See you there. God bless. Have a great night. Bye bye. All right.